Good morning, Professor Secord. This is Norman McWilliams. First, let me apologize for getting you this assignment late. I have been working very hard on looking for a job and making sure that I bring my grades up in some of the other classes that I'm taking. But I'd just like to take a few moments to briefly go through the site, which is one of our assignments, basically to see if there's any gaps and what have you. On the screen, you'll see a summary of some of the things that I've included in the project. Basically, the product of the portfolio was generated using PHP, some compiled CSS using Ruby as the compiler, and so on. The site structure is based on subdirectories that are important, or the standard type of structures. Let's see here. Let's go to my local environment, which should be a mirror image of, let's see, there it is, htdocs, Norman McWilliams. I have my blog under the domain, CSS code, images, the Node.js subdirectory, Sass, style guide templates, and videos. The site main files are in the root of the domain. I generated the sitemap for Google, have not implemented it yet, but I will do that so that Google will start scanning my domain. The technology used is GitHub for version control, SCSS so that the code can be compiled, and I did this to make a library, a Norman McWilliams library, or Nshift 360 library, that includes Bootstrap, Popper, and other CSS libraries or CSS files, so that my primary purpose was to basically just include files. One, the Nshift 360 library, and NLM, the NoLab library. This is the CSS code libraries here. So instead of having to use Bootstrap and all the other libraries, I just include them in the code for the libraries. Okay. Moving on. There's in the CSS file, I use variables in order to basically use the top of the file as often as possible to describe the variables, the colors used, or the formats used throughout the file. But this is the location that I've used to override some of the things in Bootstrap, so that if I wanted to change colors for those preset CSS names, I use that in this file to override them. All of the videos I use storyblocks.com, which is where I get my licensed videos and JPEGs, PNG files. I use After Effects and Photoshop for these files so that they're optimized so that it takes less time to load the pages on the site. I administer all of my stuff at GoDaddy using a cPanel. As again, I use the Ruby environment so that I can use my PHP Storm and Dreamweaver to compile the code for my CSS. Of course, I've used JavaScript rather, and jQuery for any of the functions that I use on the site, for hovers over the videos to animate them and what have you. The templates that I've set up is primarily, so that I can use this type of site for clients, and that is, let's see here, it should be here somewhere. Anyway, let's do this. NormanMcWilliams.com. Index underscore template 01.php. I've set this up so that I can easily come up with the dimensions required on the site, so that whenever I want to do this for any other client or do this again in any situation, I have the dimensions of the graphics that go on. I'm still in the process of dealing with the style guide that accurately gives me the information for the styles that are used on the site. The style guide that I also presented to you at the portfolio presentation last week is also included on the site. It's not perfected, but then again, nothing is, so that I can display the fact that I can come up with a style guide as part of my portfolio. The hard copy booklet of the portfolio has also been created so that people can take a look at the site without having to go there. Let's see here, what else is there? The video I sent you basically was not the screencast, but it was a display on YouTube that would basically have a display of not only the website, but some of the graphics and videos that also display my Photoshop and After Effects skills. The future enhancements for the site, I want to put more jQuery on it so that the site displays a little bit smoother than it does now. And because I've discovered I need more, not discovered, I need more back-end functionality so that people can actually see I'm a developer as well as a designer, which means that I have to learn all the other JS stuff, the Node, React, those popular technologies that people are using now as frameworks, and try to get away, Skeleton, and try to get away from exclusively using Bootstrap only, so that I can increase the speed of development and also come in and work on existing projects that most likely will be available when people move on and they need someone else to take over the projects. Let's see here. Once again, you know this site, which I showed you, and there's some other inconsistencies that I have to take care of when I'm dealing with this. What I did do, my last update, was to use a bootstrap feature, of columns feature, that will get me consistent spacing on my menus. That was a problem that I couldn't solve before the portfolio presentation, so I had to hard code it so that the spaces were at least equal. Also had some issues with the color scheme for the pull-down menu, but I've since solved that. This is on the production site. I didn't want to push a version change until I've made sure that everything is correct so that I don't blow up my site. I have the site managed and version control for GitHub, and I use that. I leverage that a lot because I get into the habit of trying to make changes, but then when I want to go back, I can't. So I use GitHub desktop for a lot of those, to track a lot of those changes. That's about it. Once again, I apologize for getting this to you at the last minute, but I understand. I assume that you see my work and you know that I'm working as hard as possible, but you also indicated before that you can't give me a grade on something that I have not explicitly submitted. So I'm going back, reviewing the gaps in my grade, and we'll be submitting those assignments so that you can give me a proper grade. I'd appreciate it if you can give me as much as you can, but I understand that, it is late, so you may have to take points off for that. So thanks a lot, and I will see you in class today. Bye-bye.